The courtroom freezes the moment the teenager mutters it. This court is a joke. It isn't loud, but it cuts through the room like broken glass. A few people turn. One officer stiffens. A mother sinks into her seat. The judge lifts his eyes. Slowly. No anger. No rush. Just a calm, deliberate silence that feels heavier than any shouting could. This is no ordinary disrespect. There's something behind it. Fear, ego, a dare to see what happens when authority is tested. And everyone in the room knows one thing. Whatever the judge does next will define the rest of this boy's life. The boy leans back like he owns the room, arms crossed, chin tilted, a smirk carved across his face as if nothing in this courtroom could ever touch him. His friends in the second row whisper and snicker, their quiet confidence feeding his arrogance. He glances back at them, lifts a brow, and gives a little nod, as if this entire hearing is a joke written for his amusement. Judge Caprio rereads the charges slowly, each word measured, calm, steady. But before he can finish, the boy lets out another laugh, sharper, louder, slicing through the courtroom like a blade. The room freezes. A few people shift in their seats. One man exhales through his teeth. A woman in the gallery mutters, "Unbelievable." His mother goes pale, fingers tightening around the strap of her purse. Her eyes plead for him to stop. Just stop. But he doesn't. He rolls his shoulders, lifts his chin, and smirks again. Judge Caprio lifts his gaze. Silence settles, a different kind of silence. Heavy. Intentional. The kind that doesn't punish, but exposes. The judge studies the boy, not with anger, but with something far more dangerous, curiosity. As if he's trying to read the truth behind the smirk. As if he's seen 1,000 kids like him, and knows this bravado has a crack somewhere. "You find something funny?" he asks, voice low, calm, unshaken. The boy shrugs. "I mean, it's traffic. It's not that deep." A wave of murmurs rolls across the courtroom. His mother closes her eyes. Judge Caprio folds his hands. "You think you're untouchable." The teen's smirk twitches, just slightly. "What exactly," the judge continues, "do you think this is?" The boy opens his mouth but hesitates, first crack. The judge leans forward a little. "Because to you, this may be a joke. But out there," he points gently toward the courtroom doors, "a single reckless moment destroys someone's entire life." The boy swallows. His friends stop whispering. The judge lets the silence linger again, giving the weight of his words room to breathe. The courtroom listens like every sentence is a verdict. "Tell me," Caprio says softly, "if your mother were the one harmed, would you laugh then?" The teen stiffens. His eyes shift toward his mother. Her face is trembling, and that cracks something deeper in him. For the first time, he looks uncertain. The judge watches him carefully, almost kindly. "There's always a story behind behavior like yours. I just hope, for your sake, you're ready to tell the truth." Another hush sweeps the room. And as the tension tightens, the judge's gaze sharpens, signaling that something unexpected is coming next. She sits just behind him, hands clasped so tightly her knuckles have gone white, shoulders trembling with every shallow breath. The mother who has held her son through scraped knees, broken curfews, and now this. When the judge's eyes shift toward her, she startles, then rises slowly as if the weight of the entire courtroom is pressing down on her spine. I'm so sorry," she whispers. "Not to the judge. Not to the court. To the world. To anyone who's had to witness the unraveling of the boy she can't seem to reach anymore." Her son rolls his eyes, loud enough for the people in the gallery to notice. A few gasps ripple across the room. Even his friends tense now, their smirks fading. The mother's voice cracks. "I work nights. I leave at 8, come back at 4. I try to wake him for school, but the teachers, they call, they complain, they say he's disrespectful." She wipes her cheek quickly, trying to hide it. "I don't know what else to do. I've tried everything." Judge Caprio doesn't speak. Not once. He lets her words fill every inch of the silence. It's a silence that doesn't punish, it reveals. "I raised him alone," she continues, voice trembling. "I thought maybe if I worked harder, he'd understand." The boy shifts, annoyed. "Mom, seriously? You're being dramatic." A wave of shock sweeps the courtroom. Someone whispers, "Is he serious?" Another exhales sharply. The judge's gaze snaps to the boy. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. The stillness in his eyes alone makes the teen straighten up. "You think this is about drama?" he asks, calm but razor-sharp. The boy opens his mouth, then closes it when he sees the judge lean forward ever so slightly. Caprio turns back to the mother, softening. "You've done all this on your own?" She nods, tears forming again. "I just want him to listen. Just once." The judge folds his hands. The tension thickens. Every person in the room leans in, sensing something pivotal is coming. Then he asks the question that freezes the entire courtroom. "When," he says slowly, "was the last time he looked at you and spoke to you with respect?" The mother's breath catches. The boy's cocky posture collapses an inch. And the room realizes this hearing isn't about a traffic violation anymore. It's the moment a fractured family is being held up to the light. Ever seen a moment like this before? The judge shifts his posture, slow, deliberate, the kind of movement that empties a room of noise. All eyes follow him as he turns toward the teen, not with anger, but with an unsettling calm. "Tell me," he says, voice steady, "why do you think this courtroom is a joke?" The question hits like a sudden spotlight. The teen blinks, caught off guard. His mouth opens, but all that comes out is, I don't. I just." He stops, searching for attitude he no longer fully believes in. The room holds its breath. He tries again. "I just think you're making it a big deal. It's whatever." A low murmur sweeps the gallery. Even his friends shift uncomfortably. But Judge Caprio doesn't pounce. He leans back, hands folded, studying the boy like he's reading a story written between his expressions. "You laugh when you're nervous," he says softly. "You smirk when you're scared. You think acting tough will protect you." The teen's eyes widen, a visible crack. "I'm not scared," he mutters. The judge raises a brow. "Then why are your hands shaking?" The boy looks down. His fingers tremble against his jeans. Gasps echo quietly. Caprio continues, voice almost gentle. "I've seen this before. A young man walks in here like he owns the place. Thinks respect is optional. But 9 times out of 10, behind that attitude is something heavy. Something he doesn't know how to carry." The teen swallows, throat bobbing hard. "I had a kid in this courtroom," the judge goes on, "who mocked every word I said. But when I asked why, he finally admitted he hadn't seen his father in 3 years. He wasn't angry at the court. He was angry at life." The boy shifts, shoulders slowly sinking. Another fracture in the armor. "You're not here because of a ticket," Caprio says. "You're here because you're losing control. And you think if you laugh first, no one else can hurt you." The boy's posture collapses another inch. His friends look away. The bravado is evaporating in real time. The judge's tone drops into something deeper. "So I'll ask you again, and I want the truth this time." His eyes sharpen. "Why is this a joke to you?" Silence. The teen opens his mouth, but nothing comes out. Not arrogance. Not sarcasm. Just a breath that trembles. For the first time, he looks human, conflicted, exposed, unsure of which version of himself to protect. The courtroom leans in. Is he softening, or about to explode? Have you ever acted tough to hide something? A soft shuffle of papers breaks the tension. The prosecutor steps forward, expression firm, a thick folder in hand. "Your Honor, the school reports. Prior warnings. And the footage." The word footage alone sends a ripple through the gallery. The teen stiffens, a quick, involuntary jolt. His friends lean forward, nervously exchanging looks. The prosecutor lays out the documents one by one: late arrivals, class disruptions, disrespect toward teachers. Each page lands with a quiet thud that feels louder than the last. But it's the final piece, the video, that pulls every breath from the room. The screen lights up. There he is. The same smirk. The same laugh. Mocking a teacher who was simply asking him to sit down. "Bro, relax," video him says, waving his hand dismissively. Laughter from classmates fills the background. But in this courtroom, no one laughs. The boy's real face drains of color. His eyes drop, dart away, return, like he's trying to outrun himself. When the footage ends, the silence is suffocating. Judge Caprio picks up the first report. Then the second. Then the third. His gaze moves slowly from the papers to the teen. Do you recognize a pattern here? The boy swallows hard. I don't know. The judge tilts his head. Let me help. He gestures to the stack. Different teachers. Different settings. Different adults trying to guide you. Yet the same reaction. Mockery. Defiance. Dismissing anyone who tries to help. A low murmur drifts across the gallery. Caprio continues, voice calm but unyielding. This isn't about a ticket. This is about a direction you're choosing, whether you realize it or not. His tone sharpens. And that direction leads somewhere you're not prepared for. The teen's chest rises unevenly. His fingers twist in his lap. Look at the boy in that video, the judge says. Is that who you want to be? The teen doesn't answer. Caprio leans forward, eyes piercing. Because that boy. He's not confident. He's lost. And he's doing the only thing he knows to protect himself, pushing away every hand that reaches toward him. The room sits in absolute stillness. The teen's voice barely escapes. I didn't think it was that serious. It always starts that way, the judge replies. A laugh. A shrug. Whatever. But one day, those small choices add up, and suddenly you're standing exactly where you never wanted to be. The boy's mask cracks, finally, painfully, and the courtroom sees him. Not the tough act. The frightened kid underneath. The teen's breath shakes before any words leave his mouth. It's not like that, he mutters, forcing a shrug he can't hold. Teachers always pick on me. They don't like me. They never have. The gallery stirs. A few raised eyebrows. A quiet exhale from someone who's heard this excuse before. He presses on, louder, rushing. And my classmates. They set me up. They're always trying to get me in trouble. I'm not the problem, they are. Judge Caprio doesn't move. That stillness is more powerful than any interruption. The teen senses it and falters. I mean, the whole system is messed up. You don't get it. His voice cracks on the last word, thin as paper. A whisper cuts through the gallery. The mother closes her eyes, head shaking slowly, begging the universe for her son to stop before he destroys himself further. But he can't stop. The pressure is too tight around his chest. You think I'm some bad kid? He suddenly shouts, eyes blazing in panic. You think I want to be here? You think I want to get laughed at every day? His voice breaks hard. Nobody listens to me. Nobody ever has. Gasps explode like soft fireworks around the room. The mother covers her mouth, sobbing openly now. Officers shift uneasily. Even the prosecutor freezes, stunned. The teen's voice collapses into a trembling whisper. I feel like I'm drowning all the time, and nobody cares. That line hangs in the air, heavy enough to pull the room lower. Then the spiral hits. And now you're all here judging me again, just like always. Just like everyone. I didn't do anything wrong. I just. He's unraveling fast. Words tripping, chest heaving, anger mixing with pain until everything spirals into chaos. And that's when it happens. For the first time since the case began, Caprio raises his voice. Enough. The word slices the room clean in half. The teen freezes mid-breath. The mother stops crying. Even the officers stop breathing. Caprio leans forward, voice firm as stone but warm beneath the surface. You are not drowning. You are not invisible. And you are not alone in this courtroom. His stare softens just enough to reach the boy's breaking point. But shouting won't save you. Blaming won't save you. Only truth will. The teen's shoulders collapse. No defiance left. No smirk. Just a kid stripped bare by his own honesty. Caprio continues quietly, tell me what's really going on, without the armor. The boy's lip trembles. And for the first time, He looks ready to finally say it. The courtroom stays frozen in that heavy silence, the kind that makes every breath feel loud. Judge Caprio leans back, fingers interlaced, eyes fixed on the teen with a calm that carries more power than anger ever could. When he finally speaks, the room almost straightens itself. You know, life gives warnings long before it gives consequences. His voice lands softly, but the weight behind it presses the air down. And today, whether you understand it or not, you are standing in front of a warning. The teen's shoulders drop. His earlier defiance is gone, replaced by a quiet, uneasy stillness. Caprio continues, steady and unshaken. You laughed earlier. Not because you're bad, but because you thought this moment wasn't real. You thought rules didn't apply to you. That's how it starts. A small disrespect. A harmless shrug. A joke at the wrong time. He pauses, letting the silence settle. But life remembers those moments, and it brings them back with interest. A few people in the gallery shift, the weight of his words sinking into them too. You're young, Caprio says, leaning forward slightly. You still believe you have unlimited chances. But I've sat here long enough to tell you, chances run out. Sometimes faster than you think. The teen's eyes tremble, still lowered, but listening harder than he ever has. Caprio softens, the tone that made him beloved across millions of screens emerging like sunlight through a storm. But here's the miracle in all this. You're not at the end. You're at the beginning. And beginnings are where people decide who they want to become. The teen looks up for the first time, hesitant, searching. I'm not here to crush you, Caprio says gently. I'm here to give you the one thing most people never get at your age, a clear picture of the road ahead. One path leads to responsibility, respect, and a life you can be proud of. The other, he lets the thought hang, heavy and real. The other leads right back through these doors, again and again, until the world stops giving you second chances. A murmur ripples through the courtroom. Caprio's final words land with the precision of a moral hammer wrapped in kindness. I'm giving you a door, right now. Redemption. Growth. A chance to rewrite the next chapter before it's written for you. The teen nods slowly, eyes glassy. And as the room absorbs the shift, from confrontation to transformation, Caprio adds, almost like a whisper to the viewers at home. If you believe everyone deserves a chance to change, you know what to do. The prosecutor rises with confidence, the echo of his chair snapping the courtroom back into tension. Your Honor, given the defendant's behavior, the state recommends a strict penalty. Significant fines. Possible detention. This attitude cannot go unchecked. A ripple of approval moves through the gallery. The teen stiffens. His mother quietly squeezes her hands together, bracing for the blow. All eyes shift to Judge Caprio. He takes his time, slowly removing his glasses, placing them on the bench with a soft click that somehow sounds louder than the prosecutor's entire speech. The room leans in, breath held. You're recommending punishment, he says calmly, and I understand why. Another silence. A heavy one. But I'm not convinced punishment is what this young man needs. A shockwave, small gasps, whispers, eyebrows rising. Even the prosecutor blinks. Caprio turns toward the teen. Stand up. The teen obeys, legs trembling. You expected the worst today. Maybe you even deserved it after the way you walked into this courtroom. His voice sharpens, then softens again. But growth doesn't always come from pain. Sometimes, it comes from purpose. The teen swallows hard. Caprio lifts a file, taps it lightly. Part of this case is dismissed. The gallery reacts instantly, a wave of murmurs breaking against the walls. The mother covers her mouth, tears forming. But Caprio raises a hand and the room falls silent again. However, he continues, mercy without responsibility is meaningless. So here's what I'm ordering. A pause, perfectly timed. You will complete 30 hours of community service. But not just anywhere. You'll be assigned to a center that teaches respect, respect for people, for spaces, for rules, for yourself. The teen looks stunned. Why that, Your Honor? Because you don't need a jail cell, Caprio says. You need a mirror. Another ripple through the gallery. soft gasps, emotional exhale, a faint nod from an older man in the back row who's clearly lived this truth. Caprio continues, voice steady but warm. You will speak to counselors. You will help younger kids understand consequences. You will listen. And you will show me, in 60 days, whether today was a turning point, or just another warning. The teen nods rapidly, overwhelmed. I won't waste it. Caprio studies him. Good. Because this isn't leniency. It's a challenge. The hardest one you'll face. He looks toward the camera, subtle, gentle, carried by the moment. Viewers, what do you think? Was this too soft, or perfectly fair? The room is still humming from the judge's unexpected decision. Soft murmurs, shifting chairs, a few stunned glances. But when Judge Caprio lifts his hand, everything quiets instantly. The silence deepens, thick enough to feel. He turns toward the teen. Before we close, is there anything you want to say? The question hangs there, heavy, inviting, impossible to dodge. The teen freezes. His mouth opens, then closes. His fingers twist together, knuckles white. For the first time all day, he looks like a kid who realizes the gravity of his own footsteps. His mother watches him with trembling lips, silently praying he won't ruin this moment. Finally, the teen inhales, a shaky, uneven breath. Yeah, he whispers. The courtroom leans in. His voice cracks. He swallows. I want to say I'm sorry. A soft gasp rolls through the gallery. No excuses, he continues, eyes locked on the floor. I acted stupid. I disrespected this place. I disrespected you, sir. Another breath. And I scared my mom. She didn't deserve that. His mother breaks, quiet tears slipping down her cheeks as she covers her face, shoulders shaking. The teen keeps talking, voice trembling but honest. I thought I was being funny. I wasn't. I thought nothing could touch me. But today, his eyes lift, finally meeting the judge's. Today did. The courtroom softens, officers shifting gently, spectators watching with new empathy. Even the prosecutor lowers his gaze, absorbing the sincerity. I'm gonna do the community service, the teen adds. All of it. And I'm gonna take it serious. I promise I won't embarrass myself like this again. Or disrespect anyone. Especially my mom. The words land with quiet force, raw, unpolished, real. Judge Caprio nods once, slowly. His expression holds neither triumph nor pity, only a deep human understanding. That, he says softly, is what accountability sounds like. A ripple of warmth moves through the room, erasing the earlier tension. For a moment, everyone witnesses something rare in a courtroom built on conflict, a genuine shift. A kid growing up right in front of them. Caprio adds, make good on those words. And you won't see this courtroom again. The teen nods hard, eyes burning. As the gavel lowers, the moment settles in the air, humility replacing arrogance, hope overtaking fear. And for the viewers watching, one final question rises naturally from the scene itself. Did this ending surprise you? The courtroom empties slowly, echoes of footsteps bouncing softly off polished floors. The teen walks beside his mother, shoulders slightly hunched but lighter than when he entered. His steps are hesitant at first, then steadier, carrying a humility that wasn't there before. They don't speak. Silence carries the weight of the day, yet in it, a subtle relief hums, a quiet, almost sacred acknowledgement that something has shifted. The mother's hand brushes against her son's arm, a gentle, grounding touch. He glances at her briefly, a flicker of gratitude in his eyes, before looking forward again. Outside the courtroom doors, she turns and casts a glance back. Her eyes meet Judge Caprio's across the room. No words are exchanged, yet the meaning is unmistakable. Thank you. For seeing him. For not giving up. For guiding him without breaking him. The judge nods softly, a faint, almost imperceptible smile tugging at his lips. He's already returning to his paperwork, calm, collected, the day's drama settling into memory, but the subtle imprint of change lingers. Inside, the empty benches seem to hum with residual tension now dissipated. The gallery's whispers fade into nothing, replaced by a rare stillness, the kind that feels like the calm after a storm. The teen exhales, a long, shaky breath, and it's as if the weight of expectation, arrogance, and fear has lifted slightly from his chest. The transformation is small, quiet, but unmistakable. A young officer, standing nearby, watches him leave. Nods. Even he can feel the difference, a boy no longer entirely defined by defiance. A mother relieved that the world didn't crush her child. And a judge who has, once again, nudged a life toward something better, something right. The doors close behind them. The sun glints off the courthouse steps, casting a warm glow. Outside, life continues, but inside the courtroom, a moment has been quietly won. A lesson, an apology, a chance. For those watching this story unfold, a simple thought remains. If you want more courtroom stories like this, stay with us. Witness the tension, the humanity, and the small victories that only a Judge Caprio-style courtroom can create.